Kickstarter. Like, what are your feelings about it? How have you liked it so far? It's very popular with a lot of game companies, and like everybody from like the smallest indie to, you know, the middling companies and all the way up to, you know, like there are publicly traded companies that are doing Kickstarters now. So what are your feelings on it?
I almost can't imagine it. It's almost as if the guys doing Kickstarter sat around and said, what is the best thing that we can do for the adventure game industry? It just seems to be such a perfect fit, because now there will be games that are going to be made through Kickstarter that are not going to be very good. We might make a game that ultimately might not have been very good. It's just the nature of the beast. Similar to, you know, music. YouTube has allowed some phenomenally talented, wonderful musicians to get recognition, to find an audience. It's also allowed a lot of people that aren't really that good to find an audience. So, you know, that's just part and parcel of the process. But at the same time, we are such a small industry compared to the rest of the world that there are lots of people, there's so many of you guys out there that often can't connect up, that can't find each other, that can't find the games, that can't come to these conventions and can walk around and go, oh my gosh, that looks cool and that looks cool and I gotta have that thing. And so to have a way to have this giant group of people who are desperately wanting to play cool games and to be a part of the process of making those games, connecting up with those designers that have the ideas and that have the genesis, to have a medium that allows those two to fuse together, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, like, when Kickstarter first started to get big, and I saw some, you know, companies that I felt were like established companies putting stuff up, I was like, well, is this really what the purpose of it is? You know, is that really the purpose was for? But it really takes you a second to step back and say, like, tabletop games, which is what we're, you know, Play Unplugged, it's what we're all about, it's what we're passionate about. It's just not the juggernaut. It's still a cool industry. It's my favorite industry in the whole world, but it's not a juggernaut like, say, like the, you know, like movie industry, or where I feel like this is, you know, this kind of fan support is something we need. We need fans to be passionate and to invest in these projects.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been a huge proponent in saying all along that Battletech and Shadowrun, and I just saw a guy over there opening up a Shadowrun book. I love seeing that. So Shadowrun and Battletech are alive today because of their fans. You know, I've worked for 3 or 4 different companies now that have been involved in it. Most of them have imploded along the way. And it's because of the passions of the fans that have kept those properties alive and have allowed them to be here, and really have given us an opportunity to, right now, Battletech and Shadowrun are in a position to have more recognition than they've had in decades. You have MechWarrior Online, MechWarrior Tactics coming out. You have the Shadowrun Returns that had the just phenomenal response on Kickstarter with, you know, it was $1.8 million raised. Both of those properties are tapping into, you know, almost a revival. And so, you know, a lot of fans who have been there the whole time, I'm just a giant fan that is really humbled most days, the fact that I get to do what I do. And, you know, looking at some of these guys who are, you know, again, the Battletech area is right over there, and some of these guys I've known and have seen them come to conventions year after year for 15 plus years. And then you have the guys who played 20 years ago and are finding it again and are excited and are getting their kids involved. You know, all of that kind of comes together, and Kickstarter is a way to continue that, to continually energize. You know, how many of us have wanted to, you know, when I was back in high school and I'm writing down and jotting my ideas and getting my notebooks, and how many of us thought, you know, hey, I can be a part of something, I can help them get out that really cool game. That's just a level of interaction that's unheard of, you know, just a couple of years ago.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know what, Randall, my last question was going to be, you kind of answered part of it already, because I can tell by your passion how much you love. No, I'm serious, and that's really, I think that's important. I think that's what this industry needs to remain viable, to remain like a viable entertainment alternative for people, to get them face to face, because I think that's the most important part, is that when we're playing a game, like if we're playing Leviathans or we're playing Shadowrun or whatever, we're playing, and it's you and me playing face to face, and we're interacting, and I think that's the, you know, a critical piece. But what is it about working in this industry that energizes you? What makes you so passionate?
It's there are definitely some days when I'm not exactly sure. The last 2 years have been exceedingly difficult for a host of reasons, and they're really dark storm clouds that we had to come through. But at the end of the day, I'm just a giant geek. I love playing games. I cannot stand some days how much I love playing games, and coming to conventions is really hard. Now, Origins, not so much. It's a little more laid back, but Gen Con is brutal. It beats you up and it kicks you, and you roll out of there like just a dead dog, and you're wasted for like a week, and then you get back up, and then you're excited to go next year because it's the experience. You get to interact with the fans. There was a moment, I think 2 days ago, where this guy is coming up and he has his 6 and 7 year old little kids, just the cutest thing, and the little girl, or the guy's picking up the Leviathans dice because it was right on the edge of the table, and the little girl's reaching forward to touch the Leviathans, and you can just see the look on their face, that like dawning moment of something in them is being touched, to say, wow, that's cool, I didn't realize that was there. And I know we've all had those moments. Like one of my moments, I was maybe 11, and I go over to a friend's house and I see Anne McCaffrey's White Dragon, and I had never seen imagery like that before. It wasn't in my house. No, my family, tons of readers and all that, but National Geographic, Reader's Digest, that type of thing. So that White Dragon just blew me away. I'm like, oh, there's this old world over there? I didn't know that. And then, another seminal moment is like reading Dune for the first time when I'm 13 and going, oh my gosh, those are kind of those little dots along this line, and all of that leads up to where I am, where I've been gaming since I was 12. I've been playing Battletech since I was 14. Been in the industry now for 16 plus years, and lots of hard and tribulations, and anyone who comes up to me and says, hey, how do I get in? And I'm immediately trying to talk them out, because it is a tough road. But if I can't talk you out, if I can't get you to go away, if you keep coming me and bugging me, then I'm going to do everything I can to help you out, because I love it and I want to share it, and I want you guys to love it, and I want everyone to love it. Which is, a big shout out to like Will Wheaton. I'm hoping that I get a chance to just track him down and shake his hand and thank him, because I see instantly the impact that Tabletop, the Geek and Sundry webisodes are having in showing people that there's just so much out there that's so cool. Go find it. You will find games that will blow you away, and you'll be playing for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Randall, this has been an amazing interview. I've learned so much just talking to you, and like I said, like, I love your passion. I have that same passion, and I love seeing it in somebody else. So thank you very much for doing the interview with Play Unplugged, and we really appreciate it. All the fans really appreciate it, and congratulations on all the releases. And I hope there's many more good years of work. Seeing Catalyst games at the cons. Just on a note, when you said I feel the same way at the end of Gen Con too. So I'm getting ramped up for that this year, obviously, also. So I feel the same way. It's for the press, it's the same way. But thank you so much for the interview. Fantastic.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on.
This is Enrico Nardini from Play Unplugged, signing out.